Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. This is your Dr. Soul brother. I want to know if anybody can hear me. I certainly hope so. Well, I'm going to get right to it. I apologize for being 4 minutes late, but I'm new to this. This is my second one here, so we do what we can. But I'll get straight to the
Okay.
point. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. This is your Dr. Soul brother. I want to know if anybody can hear me. I certainly hope so. Well, I'm going to get right to it. I apologize for being 4 minutes late, but I'm new to this. This is my second one here, so we do what we can. But I'll get straight to the
Okay.
point. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. This is your Dr. Soul brother. I want to know if anybody can hear me. I certainly hope so. Well, I'm going to get right to it. I apologize for being 4 minutes late, but I'm new to this. This is my second one here, so we do what we can. But I'll get straight to the
Okay.
point. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. This is your Dr. Soul brother. I want to know if anybody can hear me. Certainly. Okay. And a little technical difficulty, but we're trying to get this thing going. Let me get straight to the point here. Apparently, there was this young white woman from the U.S. who lives in the U.K. who has some things to say regarding. Um, she talked to a known white supremacist racist guy by the name of Nick Fuentes, and apparently he was going off into some things pertaining to Jewish people, and then she compared um, what he had to say, comparing that to the plight of black folks in this country, suggesting that, and I'll paraphrase that what was happening, what happened to black folks in America wasn't all that bad. Um, type of thing, trivializing our pain, suffering, and death, frankly. Well, the mistake that a lot of black folk make is that we think that, okay, because she had a black staff, was involved with a black man, etc., that somebody like that doesn't is not racist. Well, we don't understand that there are levels to this stuff. There really is. And you can be racist dealing with us, not and um I should say you can be dealing with us and still have racist attitudes. So that's the thing that we don't seem to understand. So the thing is this: what we need to understand is that when it comes to the whole thing with uh, disrespect to us, those are the kind of things that need to be addressed. You cannot feel comfortable enough being around black folk and come along and feel that you can just say anything or feel any kind of way. Now, just Pearly got on and said something about this whole thing, trying to so-called apologize and all the rest of it. That's only because folks came after her. But I don't want to just deal with uh, her. I also want to deal with others like her. Here's what I mean. One of the mistakes, as I said a moment ago, is that there's a tendency to feel comfortable enough to exhibit disrespect. Now, even though she has majority black staff and all of that, um, there was no accountability and felt comfortable enough to, well, I can say this and nobody say anything. Well, look what ended up happening. People reacted. And of course, you had those who were caping for her and all them. You're always going to have that. But there was enough to say, oh no, we're drawing the line in the sand here. So people need to understand there are levels to racism. There's not just a thing where somebody who believes in um, sticking a what do you call it, cross on your lawn and all that kind of stuff. that or burning down your house like the Ku Klux Klan did back in the day, that um, is an example of what a racist person is. That is one example, but it's not the sole example, if that makes sense. And so, what's beginning to happen now is that, thank heaven, some people who worked with her or share the same platform are starting to have starting to had to make a reassessment. But you should not just make a reassessment of her. You should make a reassessment of other people who are similar to her, because she's not by herself. She's not like she's an anomaly. You know, there are many others. And again, too often, Black America, we've been guilty of making people like that feel comfortable to be able to exhibit certain levels of disrespect. And one of the things that, just on a human level, what you end up happening, what ends up happening is this: when you do that, you open the door for more disrespect. It's like, okay, this person didn't say anything this time, so I do it again. I do it again. That's how that works. But what ends up happening is, um, people of that ilk, what they end up doing is, um, they have to learn that the buck stops here. That you can't just say anything, type of thing. And the fact that she had this known white supremacist racist Nick Fuentes, this little runt, um, that in and of itself is not a problem in my view. The problem is that obviously they were on the same sheet of music, so to speak. Because they're, look, let's face it, you have people, Phil Donahue had all kind of people in his on his show back in the day, and they weren't always on the same page. So you have people of different points of view. That's understood. But what's not understood is that when you turn around and have people on there and there's no pushback to the vitriol that comes from there. And he's, again, I can't stress this enough. He's an admitted racist. So this is what you're dealing with. The only way you can gain respect, recognition and respect, is to draw the line in the sand. And it was heartwarming to see how there were people on social media who were giving pushback to this woman and letting her know, no, we're not going to have that here. Now, to those who didn't want to give pushback, and also not only didn't want to give pushback, but wanted to suggest that folks need to back up off her, as we used to say, growing up, stall her out. No, shame on you. And what this does, this shines the light on you. And understand this: for too long there has been this emotional attachment, if you will, uh, as it relates to um, a segment of the white population. But that emotional attachment is towards them. It has never been towards us. In other words, it's never been reciprocal. And that is what is happening with some of these folks I notice on social media who are caping for her. I mean, that's really shameful, man. That you would cape for her, and I don't care the fact that she came out and apologized. And let's be clear. Only reason why she's apologizing because she doesn't want to lose her support and fan base. That's all it is. Now, for me, I didn't know anything about her, frankly, until like maybe close to a month ago. I'm not on social media all the time, so there's a lot of stuff I wasn't keeping up with. But this whole thing, from what I understand, there were some other things that she was doing and saying that wasn't too kosher. For example, she is on record prior to this controversy. She's on record as saying that she's against reparations. Now, that for me is a red flag. It should be a red flag to a lot of us because um, she wouldn't have said that if it had been any other group. But again, these folks seem to feel that they can say anything and there's no pushback. And it's interesting. I don't know how much pushback she got as a result of that comment regarding reparations, but it's clear when she trivialized slavery, and in trivializing, she was dismissive. And the other thing that was problematic is that when she, in dismissing slavery, she brought up our brother Alex Haley and referred to Alex Haley's Roots book as a myth. Well, to Miss Just Pearley, if you're out there listening, out there in the clouds, this is what Dr. Soul Brother has to say to you and others of your ilk. You need to keep uh, Alex Haley's name out your mouth. Okay? Let's be real clear on that. Because in the first place, What you're not going to do is get on a platform and be dismissive and trivialize pain, suffering, and death. You're not going to do that. You're way out of line. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, what happened in Alex Haley's family, that can be traced, by the way. There's photographic evidence. There may not be a photograph evidence of Kunta Kinte, but Kunta Kinte was a black person from Africa who did exist. And there's photographic evidence of those in Mr. Haley's family line that did exist. Okay, all one has to do is go to Tennessee or North Carolina or Maryland and all those different places. Um, Roots had a profound impact on our nation's during that time period in 1977 when it first aired. It first aired in 1970, January 1977, re-aired September 1978, and then they had the follow-up Roots and Next Generation February 1979, um, which showed what happened during slavery, post-slavery. Okay, whether you're talking about Jim Crow South, which of course involves segregation and all those things, the indignities that came from being segregated, as Dr. King eloquently pointed out to us. Whenever you segregate a community, you inevitably discriminate against them. So again, when it comes to somebody like Alex Haley, no, that book Roots is not a novel. It is non-fiction. It is not a fictitious story. And furthermore, you need to keep his name out your mouth. And I will say this to and about any other white person similar to uh, Pearlie. You need to keep his name out your mouth, and you need to keep our story out your mouth. Because here's the deal: that kind of stuff triggers some of us, including yours truly. See, now you're stepping on a live wire right now with that. You way out of line, way out of line at this point. Okay, so what you need to do is focus on those things that are important in your community and stay out of ours. And guess what? Because you are friendly with a group or a particular person, uh, you're not a family member. It's like when you marry into a family and you marry into that family, you are not a blood relative. So there are limitations within that relationship. So you have to be uh, aware of that and say, you know what? I need to stay in my lane. So to somebody like a Just Pearly and other, you need to stay in your lane. Period. Just because you have a black staff and other black folks and you're involved with a black person, that in and of itself means nothing. You're not one of us. Period. Let's be real clear. So I say this in closing because I'm making this short tonight, but I want uh, our people to understand this. It's critical, critical that you draw the line, learn to draw the line and toe the line when it comes to people who are out of order, who have crossed the line. And this from this day forward needs to continue. Anybody else like her needs to continue this, where the line is drawn in the sand. Okay? Line is drawn in the sand. You are not a family member. You're not. So I don't care how you kick it with us and all this kind of stuff. You're not one of us. Okay? Those are just the stone cold facts. So I'm gonna end this here. I'm gonna make this brief, but I felt it was necessary to get on here and hop on and address this issue, address it. And I'm very proud of those. And it's heartwarming, really heartwarming to see some people who decided, hey, we need to make a reassessment and take a principled position regarding this whole thing with this woman. Again, it's not just Pearlie, it's others. And I'm putting this out there for others, uh, white folk who are similar to her. You need to really keep your mouth shut when it comes to our history. That's some sensitive stuff right there. It really is. So this is your Dr. Soul brother getting ready to sign off. And I want to also let everybody know that next week, April 4th, will be the 55th anniversary of our brother Dr. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination. So I will have a program in tribute to him. I will put out the notification. It'll either be the day before, which will be April 3rd, or it'll be on April 4th. I'll have to see how things go, my schedule and all of that. But I'll post that. But again, just know and understand that what black folks have suffered in this country, while there are, I mean, everything is not negative, but and there are positive things. But the thing is this: when it comes to anything, whether it comes to uh, slavery, post-slavery, civil rights movement, post-civil rights movement, Black Power, etc., and even up to now, um, it is black folks in this country that made the difference. And for anybody, whether it's Pearly or any other person, whether it be a white person, and even those black folks who are Negro imps who want to get up here and trivialize and be dismissive of what has happened and what continues to happen in the country. Because the fact of the matter is, institutional racism does exist. It's not a figment of our imagination. It's not. So, for you to come along and try to be dismissive or trivialize what has happened is shameful, disgraceful, and again, you need to stay in your lane. So, I'll say this in closing regarding Just Pearly. You need to stay under a rock or walk off and kick rocks. And I say that to other people of that ilk who think that they can fix their mouths to be so disrespectful. Okay? Those are the kind of things that, and what we're saying in 2023, no more days like those. No more days like those. So again, this is Dr. Soul Brother getting ready to sign off. And every hope everybody enjoys the rest of their week. And look for me early next week to pay tribute to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm not going to just deal with the fact that he was assassinated 55 years ago on April 4th. That'll be a part of it to be sure, but also the role that he played in our history, because I think in a lot of ways he has been greatly misunderstood and mischaracterized. But that's a conversation for another time. So until then, this is Dr. Soul Brother signing off. And please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I would love to hear from you all in the comments section what you like, dislike. We can maybe have a point where we can have a stream where people can call in. And I'd love to have a conversation with folk. We'll do that sometime in April. As I said, I'm new to this, so I'm learning as I go along. So again,